The new Scream 7 trailer was finally released, so let's get into it. While my initial reaction is let's friggin' go, let's dissect every screen grab. So the trailer opens on Stu Macher's house, which has been turned into an Airbnb with a bunch of stab-related memorabilia. Clearly, the boyfriend out of the couple is very intrigued by the stab universe. His arms are open, he's embracing the experience, he's excited to be there. He's interacting with all of the setups and the gimmicks. And just like the beginning of this trailer, this is probably our opening scene of the film. I have a prediction that if this is the opening of the film, more than likely, the burn it all down moment could also be in the opening scene of the film as well. Where this image and this moment of burning it all to the ground, which is Stu Macher's house, could be seen as a potential climax. Since Stu Macher's house has been turned into a tourist trap, a trap by Stu himself, we'll see. Where this can be seen as the end of the Woodsboro tie-in, where they've already expanded on the notion that Ghostface could be anywhere. And it's really about following Sidney wherever she goes. Which is why this call is coming from Woodsboro. But if you look closely, you can see on the notepad that it says Pine Grove. And then in the next shot in the trailer, we also see that Pine Grove is in Dallas. The killer says this is what reminds them of where they grew up, where we grew up, he says, or she. You can also see that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is playing at the local movie theater, which also introduces this idea that violence has been an influence in this town across many towns, and is also another homage to the slasher genre. There's another shot in the trailer that shows a November calendar, so we could potentially see the beginning of this film starting around Halloween, which also makes it fitting that the trailer drop is being released today. Now, also paying attention to the word choice that Ghostface is using. He says, "your pretty daughter." So does this mean that Ghostface is potentially a man? Or is this a female who's using that as a ploy, as a distraction? Because out of all of the adjectives that he could potentially use, this is how he describes the daughter. And later in the trailer, we see that Tatum, who is Sidney's daughter, wants to be a fighter. So maybe she's known for being more delicate, but wants to embrace a different side. We'll see. We should also note that this is very similar to the beginning of the original Scream, where we have the open window where the boyfriend comes and visits, but pay attention to what the poster says right next to that open window. It says, "Time heals, then kills." And from that other point of view, if you look on her poster board, you can see that there's a name in all caps, B-E-N, Ben, her boyfriend, and who was the killer in the first one, who was the distraction in Scream 4, the boyfriend. But in the more recent iterations, we also see that the friend group is also something to look at. So pay attention, everyone's all smiles here. Who's the only one that's not smiling in this screen grab? We can also kind of pay attention a little bit to the body language. We have a trio here where two of them are somewhat embracing, and then we have one that kind of looks dressed unlike the others. There's no body contact. She's a little on the outside of the group. McKenna Grace is also a phenomenal actor, so I can see her being able to play with that delicate balance between foe and friend in a way that's really interesting, so she could be a potential killer. Now, Joel McHale is set to play Sidney's husband, and when we see him in the minimal shots that are shown in this trailer, he's shrouded in darkness, but he is, in fact, a police officer. Now, I don't know if they're trying to convince us that this is supposed to be the Patrick Dempsey character just reimagined, or if he is, in fact, like a new person in her life. And if he is a new person in her life and became her husband later on, there's no way that he doesn't know her history. So that's sus. So did he want to get closer because of his obsession with Ghostface and the lore of her life in Woodsboro? Because Joel McHale also as an actor is really good at playing that fun, lovable guy, but also with serious darkness. And Sidney is full-fledged badass in this trailer, and I'm living for it. I'm loving it. I'm loving the set pieces and the fact that she is now back to our main focal point in the series. Which means that we are going back to what the original was, which was about family ties and how those ties cut deeper. Neve has also expressed interest in reverting back and leaning more into the suspense side of things and less gore. So for that reason, I could see that the kills and the killer itself are probably somewhat closer to her life in a way where this betrayal will cut deep. And although Sidney has moved away, this tragedy will continue to follow her. And it kind of embraces something similar to the recent Halloween reboot, where we get to see an expression of this generational trauma, where Sydney's daughter also wants to be able to fight back. And this is all in response to Sydney's life and her upbringing and the consequences of what Sydney's mother has done. We also see glimpses of them embracing new technology. We see these cameras that are installed in either her house or what looks like could be a house hybrid with her work situation. In an earlier shot in the trailer, we can see on her computer screen that she works now at a coffee shop. So of course she's trying to embrace a quiet small town life, and obviously Sydney can get no peace, unfortunately. So of course Gale is going to show up and want to help out and also capitalize on murder and mayhem. And the choice to have her showing up in red, I think, is also a hint. She's back to her former self in the wake of losing Dewey. She has her cameraman in tow in that car. And something Ghostface says in this is he's not going to hurt her daughter until Sydney is there to witness it. Meaning that the kills are not just for kills. The kills are going to mean something, and they are there to directly affect Sydney. This is going to be extremely personal and will hopefully lean more into what the original did, which is explore those familial ties and also exploit them. In Sydney's daughter's friend group, we see that her friend is also a potential victim. Or is this a distraction and she's working with the killers? There's also a question of how many Ghostface will there be? Now, the twins are shown in the trailer, but I suspect that they will probably be, if not the opening kill, the subsequent kill in the beginning of the film. So we could see a version where we open on Stu Macher's house, which is being used as the Airbnb tourist trap, being potentially burned down. We could cut to the twins and them being attacked, and then potentially an attack in Pine Grove, which is where Sydney now lives. So there's definitely the opportunity for multiple killings in the opening. I do not think that the twins are going to last longer than the first 5 minutes of the movie. The choice to describe Tatum, who is Sydney's daughter, as pretty could indicate that it is potentially a boyfriend who's working with her friend. It could also be a red herring, and it could actually be her own father, which is Joel McHale. I could see him kind of double crossing and betraying both Sydney and their whole entire family. And him working in the police department gives him a leg up as far as manipulation and knowing how to kind of warp things, similar to the killers in Scream 6, where the dad was part of the police department as well. That being said, Ghostface being the boyfriend, being part of the friend group, and being a family member have all been already used. And notably absent from this trailer is Anna Camp and Mark Quincelos. I could see Mark potentially playing a police officer, potentially Sydney's coworker, or even their neighbor. I could also see Anna Camp possibly being a neighbor. She could potentially have a secret history. Maybe she's related to Officer Judy and is attacking as part of a revenge ploy. Billy, Stu, and Roman are also set to be in this, but I feel like they'll probably be more so in flashbacks. Or maybe they have some weird manifesto that's propelling the current killer to follow in their footsteps. Tatum, who plays Sydney's daughter, is in the 1883 Yellowstone spinoff and is a really strong actress, so I'm very excited to see what she does in this universe. My final prediction is that there will be multiple killers, probably 3, maybe even 4, including McKenna Grace, who plays the friend, potentially Joel McHale, the father, and Anna Camp, who is decidedly not included in this trailer. I suspect that Scream 7 will probably align the most with the original, and I'm really excited to see where it ends up.